All right, I'm muted on our, this is a learning curve right here. All right, Clinton, how are you doing today?
I'm excellent. How about you?
I'm doing well. I've got the assistant on the line here. Let's see, are you going to use the, are you using the Gmail thing we set up? Okay.
Yeah, I have the doc.
You have the doc? Okay, I need to pull that up. I'm a little behind because of all that going on. Sorry about that. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day and you're all staying inside. What's it going on? How's things going on up there? Well, why don't we start with, why don't you give us a little bit of background about who you are and Dirt Garage and how you got started and just your upbringing and things of that nature.
That's a lot to get on it. And we'll go here. Where should I start? My name's Clinton, obviously.
Yeah.
My channel is Dirt Garage, as you just mentioned here. I've been doing this since, I think I started my channel in 2016.
Okay. Wow.
A fair bit. And I got into wanting to make YouTube videos and stuff, especially around Toyotas, because really at the time there wasn't a lot of content out there.
Right.
Like, there was people who had walk around just on their phones and like talking like this, but there wasn't really anyone trying to put decent production quality into it. And at the time, like I was doing a lot of research when I was doing my 3.4 swap. I'm like, why is this not documented really on YouTube
Right.
at all?
Yeah.
Mostly on forums and stuff, right? But yeah, and my first video actually is on wiring on a 3.4 swap as well. So
I'm gonna have to watch that sometime because that's something I definitely want to do in the future.
yeah.
So, Brad, so whereabouts are you from on this planet?
I'm in British Columbia, Canada.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it, what's the weather like?
It snowed this morning, but it's getting warmer.
Nice. Nice. Is it snowy currently, like on the ground where you are?
Yes and no. There is patches of snow here and there. On some, it depends on where you go on the trails too. Like the closer to the mountains, you're going to find a ton of snow still. But there's areas you can find almost no snow.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
And so let's talk a little bit about your vehicles. How many do you have? What are they? What are you running? Let's talk about upgrades you've done.
Okay. Start with the pickup, like the most built, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my main rig on the channel is a 1989 Toyota pickup, third gen like yours. It's got the solid axle swap, 3.4. It's got the TRD supercharger in 3.4. It's got an e-locker in the front axle, a lock-right locker in the rear, and it was also an automatic. And so,
Oh yeah.
it's got a couple of upgrades, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we had sort of talked about swapping out that automatic for a manual. Is that something you're going to be doing here?
That's something that's done already. Yes.
Oh, you did it.
Yeah. No, it's manual swap.
Okay. Sorry, I must have missed that one.
No worries. I might have talked about manual swapping even in the buddy's truck. I have on my channel, we've been building a budget build. We've been calling it.
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't
Maybe that's
auto.
the one I was thinking.
Actually, we recently swapped it for a manual as well, and it's also documented on the channel also.
Nice.
In the episode when they blew the head gasket in that truck.
Yeah. What engine's in that one?
That 3 liter.
Oh, are you going to do a head gasket swap on it? Or are you going to just
No, we just pulled the entire motor and put another 3 liter in it.
Good.
It was
Those
just
things are such a pain.
It's just what we could do quickly to just get it running again immediately. So
right. Yeah.
One weekend, and it was a manual swap now, and now it's another 3 liter, and now he's out wheeling with us again. So
nice. Why didn't you do a 3.4 in it?
Because he wants inline 6 next year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which engines does he want to run?
2J.
Oh, cool.
it was like we just want to get it done running cheaply now because it's just to get them by until they can save up some parts and just put an F2JZ in. So
Right.
And then of course it won't be a budget build
No.
anymore. Not even close.
But it'll be an awesome build, so that'll be fun.
Exactly, and it's something I'm excited to document on the channel too.
Yeah. So you just pretty much those two trucks on the channel? Do you do you work on any?
Well, I've got a 2003 Toyota Corolla,
right.
which we custom built the lift kit for it because obviously you can't buy lifts for a Corolla. So they're like 2.5-inch spacers that go on top of the struts. It's got a rally bumper. I don't know if you watch Grindhard Plumbing Company on YouTube at all, but they're friends of mine. Ethan actually helped me build the bumper for the front of that car.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. And
are they in BC?
Pardon me?
Are they in BC?
No, they're in North Idaho.
Yeah. Okay.
They're 2 hours south. So.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So it's a pretty quick drive down to go hang out with those guys.
Right. I was gonna add that was gonna come up later. I was gonna ask how your connection was and how you guys got together. So.
Sure, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
I actually started following them when they got their Tacoma. I don't know if you've seen their abandoned hot wiring and abandoned Tacoma video or whatever.
Yeah.
But in that video, they were talking about how the transmission didn't work. I think it was like first and third didn't work, and it didn't have reverse at all. The auto was just not working. And I had a buddy who had a complete swap, like to go manual, ready to go. So I was like, hey, I can get you hooked up with this whole manual transmission conversion if you want, and I can even help you make it happen. And then they ended up showing up at my house, picking up the parts, and just never lost contact after that.
Yeah, those guys, they do some fun things. That's they look like quite the characters, and I'm actually quite curious about their like living situation. We don't have to get into that because I don't understand. Like they have that land and the property, and they just drive all over the place. It's quite common.
No, Ethan lives in the middle of nowhere, and it's awesome. Rip everything around. They got their own rally track. It's fantastic.
Cool. Well, that's fun. That's some of the joys about YouTube and about Instagram is that we all somehow start talking to each other one way or another, and I think it's all just going to lift up and raise the bar and help us all improve one way. Whether we're going to start working on, doing collaborations together or, pushing each other one and some other avenues,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's awesome.
So cool. So what was your first car ever?
So my first car ever was an 88 Geo Tracker.
Nice.
It was technically my first car, but I got rid of it before I got my driver's license because I thought it was really girly and didn't actually want it. I got it from my grandma. 16-year-old me thought that it was no way. I don't want to be driving this thing. And then my first actual car that I drove when I got my driver's license was a 91 Toyota pickup.
Oh, nice.
So a third gen pickup.
Yeah, and so you don't have that one anymore? That you got rid of it? What happened to it?
Well, I got rid of it when I went to college. Essentially, I couldn't afford to keep it around anymore, and I got into small cars after that. Okay. Which were like I think I got a Sunfire after that. And then the Sunfire ended up having like major engine problems around 400,000 kilometers. I don't know what that is miles, but
I don't know.
It's up there. And then from the Sunfire, I got into a Grand Am, so another GM product.
Yeah.
Also, its head gasket went like 240,000 kilometers, and I got rid of that. Then I got into another GM. It was a Cobalt.
Okay.
And that thing, its engine went at 200,000 kilometers, which is very, very low.
Right.
And then at that point, I was completely done with General Motors or domestics, period. And then I went and bought my '89 Toyota pickup, and I just haven't looked back. It's just been awesome.
Perfect. Yeah, that's
Because
sort of my history as well.
yeah, because when I owned the '91, I never did anything for maintenance at all. Never had a problem with it.
Right.
And I didn't realize how awesome it was until I got rid of it and started getting into other vehicles. And
No, definitely.
And then now I
Yeah.
don't buy anything but Toyotas, essentially.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, exactly. And then my wife's got a 1996 4Runner.
Oh, are you going to do anything to that?
There has been a few videos on it in the past,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not really priority. I'd love to be building it more, but it was more or less built to be a reliable grocery getter more than anything else, because I mean the pickup is the wheeler, right? So.
Yeah, definitely. So what actually got you into off-roading? How did you fall in line with that? I mean, it sounds like you had the pickup when you were early in life, but you really didn't do much of it.
No.
And then you went to a bunch of cars, and now you're back at the truck. So what brought you into off-roading?
Yeah, the first pickup I did I did Forest Service roads and whatever, but that wasn't like I wasn't wheeling.
Yeah.
When I got the '89, I still wasn't really into it. It's just something that I naturally kind of, I don't know, just started modifying it and then pushing it and then going. Honestly, I can't explain it. I just got the truck and then I just slowly started getting or doing more and more of it. And I think part of it might have been I started getting friends who are also in the Toyotas, and then found out that they're wheeling it, putting solid axles under it. That's cool.
Right.
I want to do that too. And then, yeah, it just evolved. Also hanging around Toyota forums and stuff a lot really influenced me into getting into 4x4.
No, definitely. So let's talk a little bit about YouTube and Dirt Garage. So how did that, like, we kind of talked about how it started, but what was some of your first projects besides the, swapping your 3.4? And what is one of your favorite projects that you've done?
I'd say other projects is pretty much just my car. All the vehicles I've already talked about have been on the channel. Plus, as I said, my buddy's budget build. That's been a really fun build too. It's also nice when I'm featuring and building other people's vehicles on the channel because I'm not the one spending money on parts.
Yeah.
Because it feels like every time I make make a video, I'm spending money on it one way or another, whether it's gas or it's parts and stuff.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, we're always having to buy, I'm always buying parts to put them on the trucks to show the video of how to show people.
Exactly.
Yeah. The thing is, though, that we would be buying the parts to put on our trucks anyway.
Exactly. That's exactly. I would be doing it anyways. I mean, I might be doing it at a faster rate than I normally would otherwise, but
yeah.
Oh well, yeah. It's fun. It's a part of the hobby.
Right. Yeah, I was actually over at a good buddy of mine's house the other day, and I was talking about when I actually got my truck Bobcat, my '91 Toyota pickup, and I got it in sometime around 95 or excuse me, 2005 or 2006.
Yeah.
And so, it's like I've had that truck for so long, and it's just sort of been this like slow creep of building it, slowly. Yeah. And then I started this YouTube, segment of my life, and now I'm just ramping up and buying everything. And, from my Tacoma to, Bobcat, and now Samantha, my little truck that I'm going to be building up, it's just like, I'm spending so much money and so much time on that, which is fun, but, it's just a different attitude towards, building the crawler that I've
100%.
Yeah. I've done in the past. Yeah. Yeah. So go ahead.
Another thing I've mentioned. So when I started building the Toyota pickup, as I said, the 3.4 was like what kind of started my channel, or why I started getting into documenting anyways. And before I did the 3.4 as well, a lot of my mechanical knowledge was like almost nothing. I've replaced the CV on the truck once, and I think the steady bearing, but nothing. And then after I did the 3.4 swap, I'm like, okay, what else can I do to the truck? And then did the manual swap. The manual swap was right after that, and then it was the solid axle swap seemed easy, so I tackled that.
Yeah,
Just have been learning as I've been going, which has been an awesome experience too.
definitely. Totally.
Yeah.
That's fun. So I wanted to, let's see, I wanted to pull up a video here, and I'm going to show like 3 to 5 seconds of one of your videos.
Okay.
And I wanted to dive in and ask a little bit more questions. This one's more of like, so what actually happened here?
Okay.
Right? And so let's see if I can pull this off somehow. Let's see. I've got to share my screen, and I've got to do computer, sound, and audio. Okay. Let's do that. Share. All right. So here we go.
And there's a wheel off. And there's a wheel off. And there's a wheel off.
So there we go. So what actually happened there with all of these wheels coming off on the actual the Barbie Jeep and the Toyotas?
The Barbie Jeep, I believe its spindle got ridiculously bent out of shape. Ethan rebuilt the whole front end of that Jeep right before Moab, and it was constantly getting tweaked and destroyed in Moab, and we were constantly fixing it. In one of their videos, I shot a bunch of actual welding that we did at camp on the Barbie Jeep just because it was awesome. It did Moab, but it wasn't built for it, obviously. We were constantly fixing it, which you didn't really see on camera.
Yeah, you never do.
Yeah, the Tacoma, that one's a funny story. So we were coming off of, I think, Hell's Revenge is we were finishing. The CV Blue in the Tacoma, like right near the end of it. So we pulled the CV out and didn't put it back, or we didn't have anything retaining the wheel bearing after we pulled the CV out on the trail. Neither me or Ethan knew that would have been an issue. But once we finished the trail and actually got the speed on the street after it, the wheel bearing burnt easily within like half of a mile and like was spitting parts all over the place, which like ruined the whole spindle, everything on that around the wheel bearing was just cooked and destroyed.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, it's what they ended up doing. They ended up making a post on Instagram, I think it was, and somebody named Elevated Overland messaged them and was like, "Hey, I got a complete spindle here, ready to go. Come meet me at this spot over here, and I'll just give it to you."
That's awesome.
We ended up driving an hour or two and meeting up with this guy, grabbing the spindle from him, going back to Moab, and that was ready to go. And my truck, I broke studs on the steering knuckle, or on the high steer arms. Yeah. I don't have 6-shooters.
Not yet, right?
Not yet. No.
They're coming.
It's on the list. I'm kind of sick of always having to tighten those studs. They seem to always come loose, and it was a known problem when I was in Moab. Every single night I was working them, which I mean probably didn't help make them weak and snap in the end, but
yeah. But yeah, you have to check them. That's one of I wanted to point that out because when I was watching that video a while ago, that's one of the fail points of that axle for sure. And you have to continuously check those, those high steer arm bolts, studs, or else you will shear them off like we saw in your video.
And I mean, I think the title of that video was like weak point in Toyota solid axles or something. And I got a couple comments saying that's not a weak point.
Yeah.
You can get 6-shooters and fix it. I'm like, well, then it's still a weak point because factory it can't take 37s. I mean, it depends on what you're doing with it, I guess.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Yes, if you're going to run 37s, they're going to be a weak point. And I found, especially after I locked the front end of my truck, is when I'd noticed them coming loose a lot more frequently than when it was open. Right. Just a lot more stress on the high steer, I guess.
Yeah. And
it's all learning as we go.
Yeah, you don't have hydro assist then up there either.
No hydro assist.
Yeah, that makes a world of difference. But if you're going to go hydro assist, then you definitely are going to want 6-shooters.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's fun. And so that's one of the things I wanted to point out was that, on the Toyota 85, or on our solid front axles, that we just have to continuously do maintenance because we're putting massive tires on there that shouldn't be on there.
Yeah, exactly.
They're made for like 31s or, some super tiny tire. And, I'm considering putting 40s on. So we'll see how long they last, but.
And I mean, another issue I've had is axle seals. I can't seem to get those to last at all.
Yeah.
With the 37s.
Really?
To be fair, I recently put the Trail Gear Trail Safe axle seals in, so we'll see how long those ones last. But before I tried just cheap ones, or I had the ones that were with the with the IFS Eliminator kit. Those actually lasted a while, but I only had 35s and I wasn't bothered.
Yeah.
And then I tried just some cheap replacements from an auto parts store. Then I tried OEMs like from the Toyota dealership, and none of those were lasting. And then I finally was like, okay, well, I'll try these Trail Gear Trail Safe ones. And so far it's lasted a few times out actually, which is a lot better than the OEM ones did. The OEM ones lasted 1 day in Moab.
Yeah, brutal. So we had a question come in. My girlfriend, the assistant's actually in the chat room, and she's filtering questions to us. And I'll pass this one to you because it might be pretty interesting and fun to hear your response. I'm going to butcher the name though. It's like Shai Chen. He asked, can 37-inch, I'm assuming tires, fit on a stock 4Runner?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you just have to cut the body off.
Yeah, take the body off. Yeah, it'll fit with the Sawzall.
Yeah, but yeah. Otherwise, no.
Would you want to? No.
Yeah.
That being said, Grindhart's Tacoma is stock suspension. They're running 37s. It's just missing half the body.
Yeah, they don't have fenders on there for the front, and they don't have a bed on the rear.
No, and we cut and like hammered in the firewall probably 4 inches.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And put a massive like plate in it, but yeah, they fit.
Yeah, it's not. You probably are still going to have to do a lot of work to get 37s to fit. And on a 4Runner, those rear axle or that rear tub and the rear wheel well, it's not going to be easy. So
no, absolutely not.
Yeah,
I guess depending on what Gen 4Runner too.
That's exactly what if it's a first or second gen, maybe even a third gens are interesting because they have a weird, like the frame goes down a little bit more. But fourth gens or fifth gens, there's no way. Like it's so much work. I would even, you're gonna have to do work regardless to fit 37s on any vehicle that, even the JKs, you have to do a little bit of a 1 or 2 inch lift and do something to fit some 37. So no. I also saw we had some fun people come in from Australia, and I saw the AZ Westside Wheelers showed up. Super stoked to see you guys.
Oh, sweet.
Nice. So I was gonna leave some time here for people to do some, ask some questions. But I wanted to ask you before we jumped over that direction, what's next for your channel? Where do you see yourself going?
What is next for the channel? Well, what is next for the channel? This is a tough question. I'm just always building stuff. I don't know what the next step up would be. I really like the format I've been doing lately. I've been tweaking it a lot over the last 6 months or so to kind of figure out my own style of videos, and I'm really digging that. What's next for one of my projects would be dual transfer cases. We've talked about this recently too.
Yeah.
I acquired a set of duals, already 23 spline, from Facebook Marketplace actually for $1,000. So.
Oh, nice.
So I thought that was a pretty good deal and jumped on that. And that's $1,000 Canadian, so probably like $750 US.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. Nice. Okay. Well, nobody else is asking any more questions at the moment, but I had one more question for you on my list that I didn't supply you because I didn't want to give you some time to think about this. I wanted this one to be on the cusp at the moment. So when Dirt Garage makes it big, what projects or adventures do you want to take on?
Projects or adventures? Well, I would really love to do like Marlin Crawler Roundup. Like that would be absolutely fantastic. I would love to take like all of September off and like do Moab for a couple of weeks, do Marlin Crawler Roundup and on like the Rubicon and stuff, and just travel and hit all the iconic trails.
Sure.
And edit on a laptop as I go.
Right. Yeah.
Like so that would be the dream.
Mm-hmm.
If I make it big, if I make it to that point, that would be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, that would be fun. Well,
yeah, exactly.
If you ever think about it, I mean, let me know because the Roundup's not too far from me, and I'm down in this area I hit the Rubicon fairly easily. Yeah. So that'd be a lot of fun. Yeah, I've joked on my channel about doing a 50-state road trip and try to get to all 50 states and wheel in every single state. And I was like, how am I going to even capture all that footage, or how am I going to edit? Edit the videos. It's just going to be crazy.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Yeah,
I would love to do something to the states through Canada. I mean, for me, capturing footage is pretty easy. I don't know if you noticed, but my wife records a lot of my videos out wheeling. Like she's always the one to jump out and record because she hates being in the vehicles for the obstacles. It's like she's like, I'm getting out, I'm going.
Yeah.
Let me film this. It's actually pretty funny.
Yeah. So, have you let her drive yet?
She's just like recently started to drive the truck. She's been terrified of it for the longest time, and I don't know why. I kept telling her it's so easy to drive, but she's like, it's just big.
Oh,
and
wait,
like,
wait till you get dual cases in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I let the assistant drive my truck, and now I don't think I'm ever going to drive it when I'm going off road. She's just going to want to do it all the time.
Yeah, no, my wife hasn't driven it off road at all. Actually, she's only been driving it recently because everything else I own is broken. So we've been dailying the wheeler.
Yeah. Oh, fun. Backwoods Ranger asked, do you do much mudding in BC?
I don't actively go out in search of mud. Like, we obviously there is a lot of mud. Like there's mud on the trails and stuff, but I don't go out with the hopes of mudding and finding some good mud. Just because it's hard to work on your vehicles after they're covered in mud. It's harder on parts, like when you got wheel speed going and whatnot. I'd prefer just crawling.
Yeah.
And honestly, like there is a lot of mudding that can be done around here, but it's not really my personal preference for off-road.
Sure. So I saw one of your videos though that was you went out to some place called like
Kukanoosa.
Yeah, how do you say it?
Kukanoosa.
So
where is Canada, USA?
It's where?
It's Kukanoosa, which is short for Kootenay, Canada, USA.
Okay, and so where is that?
That's 20 minutes from my house. It's a river, and you guys in the States actually, like the States controls the dam on the river. So 6 months of the year it's just a dry riverbed, which is like just a sea of mud essentially. Okay. For playing in. There's actually a fair bit of crawling on the river bottom too, just from rock features and stuff that are made from water.
Sure.
And yeah, every year there's a big gathering there where like thousands of people are on the river bottom, mud bogging. It's actually a really fun event.
It looked like a blast. I definitely wouldn't want to drive.
It's supposed to be like 2 weeks from now, but thanks to the whole Corona thing, isn't happening.
Yeah, there's so many things that are closing down, like Eastern Jeep Safari and just all these amazing events that are just being canceled. It sucks. Yeah,
luckily we could still get out on the trails ourselves and and have some fun. I mean, they don't close. At least here, we're not supposed to 100% be in our homes at all times, or we're told to stay home. but
Okay.
it's not enforced. Like we can still go out onto the trails as long as we're staying like by ourselves or not in big groups.
Right.
We're fine right now.
Yeah, we're supposed to stay indoors most of the time. We're in a shelter in place situation here. And if you do get together, you can't be in groups more than 6.
I think that's very similar to what we have. You're not supposed to be in groups more than 6.
Yeah.
But
So
we can still get on
Hardline
the
Co.
trails. What?
Yeah, Hardline Co just came in and they asked a question, which I've been to Moab, so I've got an idea for this, but I also want to ask you as well. Their Hardline Co is a cool group there. They've got some sweet rigs out of Southern California.
Okay.
They asked, what's your favorite trail in Moab?
What is my favorite trail in Moab?
So I'll answer mine first because I got to see the question, time to think, and I'll let you have some time to think. I really enjoyed Top of the World. It wasn't a very difficult trail, but the scenic aspect of that was outstanding. And I'm sure the trail changes quite a bit, but there's a point when you're going up the trail that the trail V's, and we went up to the right and went to the overlook and then just had a great time. And like we sat up at the overlook for hours, just looking out and seeing the scenic view. And then when we came down, we continued around and came down the other direction. And that side was much harder. And so if I were to do it again, when I'm going up the trail, I would go left on that split and do the obstacles going up that way. And it would be a lot more difficult to go that direction. So if you go out that way and you do Top of the World, think about that.
Fair enough. I was actually thinking of saying the same thing about Top of the World being my favorite as far as like payoff when you get to the end of the trail. I even talked about that in my video. I'm like sure, the trail itself isn't the most challenging, but when you get to where you're going, it's mind blowing. How beautiful it is. And like parking your truck at the edge of a cliff, which I was terrified, and I didn't get nearly as close as a lot of people do.
I sat over the edge.
Yeah, I don't even think my front tires were over that rock, over air at all on that rock. I was terrified.
Yeah.
But I also really enjoyed Hell's Revenge just because I've seen so many videos of Hell's Gate, and like it's like that. I want to do that obstacle.
Yeah.
Right. Like when it's something that you've just seen online so much, and like when I thought of Moab in the past, that's always the obstacle that I think of.
Sure.
So when I finally was able to do that, that was a huge.
Yeah. What other trails did you do while you're out there?
We did pickle mashed potatoes. We did fins and things. Poison spider, mesa.
Oh dang.
What else did we do? I'm sure there's others that aren't coming to mind.
Yeah. Did you hit Metal Masher?
I haven't hit Metal Masher yet. No.
Okay. Yeah. I want to hit Poison Spider, and I did Metal Masher, and everybody tells me that Poison Spider's the more difficult of those. So.
Oh really?
Yeah, there was one obstacle on Poison Spider, or on Metal Masher, that I couldn't make it up. And it's in my video, and I'm all twisted and you're just getting gnarly. But it's pretty gnarly. But I want to try next time I'm out there. I'm trying Poison Spider. So.
Fair enough. Yeah, I've only been there. I've been there twice now, so I haven't been a ton of trails, and I'm down there for like a week.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the drive is for you, but it's close to 20 hours.
Yeah, it's around 12 hours for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And driving 20 hours in an old '89 Toyota pickup isn't ideal.
No, I was fortunate I towed my rig out there, so.
Yeah, I don't got a tow.
Yeah.
I'm stuck driving.
I bought a tow rig 5 days before I did that trip.
What's your tow rig?
I have a 1997 Ford F-250.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, with the 7.3.
Nice.
So it'll take me anywhere.
Yeah. A project I really want to do for a tow rig is a Tundra, to keep it Toyota related, but either do like a Cummins or a Duramax in it, just because it's not really done before. Not that I've seen anyways. Looking it up, and then you got the diesel, which is super super search anyways, because people love the diesel stuff.
Sure.
And I mean, not that like the 5.7s that are in the in the Tundras, they're a fantastic motor too. I don't know if you've got a lot of experience with them, but they've got a ton of power. They're just pigs on gas.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, at least here in the States, we're not allowed to do that. So, or in California, where I'm at, we're not allowed to do that swap. But it would be really neat to see.
Yeah, we have a little bit more freedom. We don't have the smog anything up here. My truck's never had to go through any sort of emissions, anything. Nothing I own's ever had to go through any sort of emissions.
Oh, wow. I wish. I wish. Yeah. So Brian Murphy, who's a friend of ours who actually messaged both you and I on Instagram saying he was excited for this, asked, what is your next mod and what is one of your dream mods?
Dream mods? I mean, I've checked most of them off the list at this point, to be honest.
Okay.
Next mod, as we already talked, dual transfer cases. I've kind of toyed with the idea of wanting to change up the front end from leaf springs to links at some point too, just for that little bit more comfort and flex.
Yeah.
The leaf, they're nice, they do the job, they're strong, but there's more to be desired.
No, definitely. Yeah, I for my next mod for Bobcat is I'm gonna do Tundra brakes. I'm gonna put Tundra brakes on the 85 front axle and just get a bigger rotor and caliper in there. To do that, you have to run. I went with 17-inch rims now, which I was on 15s for a really long time. So yeah, so that's something that's gonna be my next mod, and probably a future mod would be doing a whole link setup, maybe full widths and links and. I
would never go full widths because most of my wheeling here is in trees and like ATV trails, and like there's a ton of places I barely fit. So I couldn't imagine being any wider than I am right now.
Interesting. Yeah. Where a lot of the trails, like the Rubicon, Fort Ice, Barrett Lake, all these ones that are right out by me, full widths doesn't matter. You can have, almost any size and go down the trail.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to keep it mini truck axles. Are you running wheel spacers, or you got IFS hubs on your solid axle?
I have spacers on the front.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
A friend of mine recently sent me, he machined down some IFS hubs. It's like, I don't like seeing the spacers on there. Just put the hubs on. They're so much better. Or the IFS hubs on. They're so much better. That's
a good buddy to have right there.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a way that you can use the IFS hubs, and then like you can one of my buddies was doing it. It was like you take the brakes and you put the hub against, you use the brake as another spacer, and so you can just, it's kind of funky, like. So you'd go the knuckle, and then some, like the spindle, and then the brakes, and then the hub or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but then that all spaces the mounting surface farther away. Yeah, it was really weird. And so he was, without spacers, he was getting the same width I was.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And yeah, I think I need to run Tacoma rotors and stuff now instead of, I believe they're FJ80 rotors with the trail gear kit, if I'm not mistaken. Once again, don't quote me on that. I haven't had to replace the rotors yet, but I'm pretty sure they're FJ rotors. I don't know.
Cool.
But that's another future mod, is the IFS hubs.
Yeah.
Oh, I also need to get rid of my worn locking hubs too. Those are garbage.
Oh yeah, you're gonna so go to Asian or there's a company that's I can't remember the name of their company, but I just found out recently that they have a lifetime warranty on their hubs also.
Oh, cool. Yeah, and I bought the A's and because of the cone washers in them. Like I'm tired. On the Warrens, it's another just constant maintenance thing, always having to tighten down the hubs because they just back off, whereas the cone washers prevent that. So
no, definitely.
Then, I don't know if you saw my video when the hub, it just sheared off. It took 5 out of 6 of the studs with it.
Oh no.
Yeah, my wheelie trips. One of them backed out, and I guess they're like all the way out. I lost it, and then the rest just loosened just enough that where it just sheared the whole hub, or the whole hub sheared all of the studs out, and I had to had to use easy outs to get over. They actually came out pretty easily because obviously they backed out. They were loose
Sure.
before they sheared. But yeah, it was annoying. So baits and hubs are on the list too.
Nice. Yeah. So Brian just asked another question. He said, what's your scariest wheeling moment?
That video comes out Friday, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Last weekend, I had a real close call on almost rolling my truck where I was going down. I was leading on a trail that I've never done before, and neither has any of my friends. We just discovered it. It was getting better and better and better.
Okay.
And I was coming down an off-camber road that was icy, and the rear end of my truck came off and was on the bank beside the road while the front end was up, and it was like just on the point of teetering down and rolling down this bank. Luckily, I managed to like stop or keep it where it was at. But that was a pretty terrifying moment, yelling back at my buddies like, "Help!"
Yeah,
I can't do anything, otherwise it's going down.
Right. That's terrifying.
Yeah, and to recover it, we ended up getting my brother's truck. He came up parallel to my truck, had his winch going straight down to my rim that's at a low point, and then we had a high lift, another buddy on a high lift, jacking up the rear end of the truck as my brother was cinching in his winch to pull my rear end back up actually onto the road. But
yeah,
that would definitely be my scariest moment. And yeah, so that comes out in this Friday's video. You'll see that.
Nice. Oh, I'm excited to see that. Yeah, I don't know of one. I know of like many times that I've been like puckered and worried and scared, but I can't name of one of the scariest moments that I've had. I don't, I think there's a lot of places that I've, gone. There's even some of the wheeling, like out in Moab where you're wheeling along a cliffside, and you're like, I don't really want to do that, but I guess it's sort of a cop out, but I don't really have a memory that just has scared me that is like ingrained in my head of like, I'm never, ever doing that again. I think there's been lots of times when I've just been like, well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I've had other times where I've almost rolled, but most of it was while I was moving and I was able to just drive out of it, where this is like, I'm relying on other people to come help me at this point. Sure. And I was just sitting there on the edge. But I've had the same thing when, you're beside a cliff in Moab, just looking down like, man, this is sketchy.
Right.
Which is why before I go to Moab every year, I make sure that my e-brake's working. Smart. Just because I know I'm going to be driving beside cliffs at some point, I just knowing that my e-brake works is just nice.
Yeah. And you made me think of, one of the moments that I wasn't really scared or frightened, but it was a bad situation. And I was down in Pismo, Oceana Dunes, and I was on like in a witch's eye sideways on a hill in the sand, and my friends from the Slow County Crawlers were all kind of figuring out how to winch and tow and, put all these straps up. And my buddy and I were talking about, like, he was on the other side of the rig, out of the rig, and I was in the rig. And we were talking about, okay, so when I roll over, this is what I'm going to do. It wasn't like I already knew that I was rolling over, that, and I wasn't, we weren't thinking about me getting out and being safe, which actually happened. We didn't roll at all. But, and so, but the situation was dire enough when we were talking about, this is what you do when you roll. Like crunch up, lean in, try to not to flop around too much or hold the wheel, if you can. But, maybe that's an upgrade I need to do, is actually put harnesses in my truck.
Yeah. Fair enough. I don't know if harnesses are road legal here. I know roll cages aren't.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. You can get away with it in a lot of cases, because when you're making your vehicle safer, it really need to have a not very nice officer to do something about it. But if you have an exo cage, that's absolutely not right. You'll get pulled over and taken off the road instantly with an exo.
Oh, interesting. That's funny. Well, I think I'd like to end here and let you do some shameless plugs of your channel and your Instagram and tell people where they can find you and about all the awesome content that you've got.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I'm Dirt Garage on YouTube. Same as you, I do a lot of the wheeling. I love modifying my Toyotas, showing you how to work on your Toyota, stuff like that. I make videos every single week. And yeah, my Instagram is dirt_garage if you want to see what I'm up to. That's normally the most up to date with like pictures and current mods, where the YouTube channel can be a little bit behind because it's on schedule.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Clinton. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Thanks for dealing with all the trouble in the beginning. You were.
No worries.
Yeah, thanks. You were sort of
Thanks for having me. It's awesome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm not quite sure how to end the video and everything. So I think I'm going to end the chat that we're on and see what happens on the YouTube side. So awesome. Thanks a lot. I'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. See you.
Bye.